Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another News Fist. Tonight, the WEF, everyone's favorite global wannabe dictators, they have penetrated your cabinets. They have penetrated your mind, and now we will penetrate the upcoming World Economic Forum meeting starting on the 16th of January. Yes, it's back, bros. Has it only been a year? I can't believe it's nearly been a whole year gone by since I've seen Klaus's sweaty, puffy face giving the world the direction that it craves. What would we do without him, bros? What indeed would we do without him? We'd be without a global leader, without someone to rule over us. And, we can't have that, obviously. The idea that, we could have freedom and countries sort of ruling over their own citizens through a sort of participatory democracy is, of course, so last century. What we need now is the fourth industrial revolution, which is happening whether you want it or not, and is absolutely, definitely not the fourth international of international communism. Not allowed to say that, and you'll get very, very badly chastised if you do say that. And when the Fourth International does bring about a world revolution, you'll be straight off to the gulag. So be warned. Be warned. The Fourth Industrial Revolution has nothing to do with any kind of sinister global power grab. It's just, the WEF is just, a bunch of people, a bunch of stakeholders hanging out in Davos, in a highly secure town that is basically privately run by the World Economic Forum. And they're there for you, bros. They're there for you and me, right? They have to decide what to do about the problems facing the world, which are absolutely not at all fake. These are very, very real problems and were definitely not created by the same people that are trying to solve them. For example, COVID-19 is a problem, a very, very bad problem that revealed all kinds of cracks in the global infrastructure and the need to bring out a new world order through the fourth industrial revolution. And they definitely didn't create that. No, it just could have happened to anyone, right? We've all been there. It's a Saturday night, you've had a few drinks, you go down to the biowarfare lab in your basement, you're kind of messing around trying to create an anime slime waifu or something like that. You're not really quite sure, you're a bit off your head. And boom, before you know it, COVID-19 could have fucking happened to anyone, bros. I perfectly understand. Climate change, of course, is a very, very, very real problem. Unprecedented in the history of the world. There have never been droughts or bad weather or floods, or anything like that. It's totally unprecedented. And because it's unprecedented problems require unprecedented action, bros. That's why we need a new global governance system powered by the fourth industrial revolution. That is why they penetrated your cabinets.
So we penetrate the cabinets.
I can feel Klaus penetrating my cabinet right now, bros. Oh, he's a bit rough. Oh. Well, he does enjoy my cabinet, does Klaus. He's told me on many occasions. Anyway, so the list of attendees for the WEF leaked. This leaked a while back, but I thought we'd go over it. Of course, these are the important people. There will no doubt be a bunch of nosebleeds and hangers-on and, all the, the plebs of the WEF. So, if these people are like the 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, these people would be only the 2%. The 2%ers, man. It must be hard. Can you imagine all the social climbing going on there, bros? All these people being like, maybe someday, I too could be Tony Blair. And, and if you went and you told them that they don't have the child sacrifice skills or the, cult of Baal connections to be Tony Blair, they'd probably be very, sad about that. Although I'm sure a bunch of them would be like, where's this cult? How can I join? Who do I have to kill? Just fucking point me in their direction. I want to be the next Tony fucking Blair. You know, I could see one of them like sidling up. Oh, you seem like a very ambitious individual. Would you be willing to kill a few innocent children to advance your position within the global governance structure? They'd be like, yep. Knock down the scotch. Let's do this, bitch. You will have to have sex with many old greasy men. I got some Xanax. Let's do this. There's money. Oh, mate. All the people there, like, would probably, like, sell out for, I mean, oh my God. Imagine I guess the only thing at such a meeting that scares me more than the people who just be, like, willing to sell out for, like, money are the true believers. You know, there must be a bunch of the sort of the wide-eyed, fucking, like, psycho-eyed, like, oh, yes, I'm here for the diversity. You know, the commies, you know. Oh, once we kill all the white people, everything will be great, you know. And they'd be like, you know, hang on. I'd be like, no. I'm not talking about the white people in this room. I mean the other white people. I gotta wonder if they do have conversations like that, you know, after the conferences when everyone's like out drinking, you know. Oh, you know, you're a pretty good white person, you know. We'll spare you, you know, when the genocide comes, you know. However, I was on Twitter and I did notice that your teenage child said some spicy things. Better correct him or he's going to be off to the gulag with Andrew Tate. Anyway, so and even among the list of, I mean, these are basically state representatives here. So these are very, very important people. These aren't the heads of companies, of which there are many. There are many stakeholders in the new fourth industrial revolution. These stakeholder networks are needed for bold new action to address the climate crisis. When I'm doing Klaus Schwab, I always wind up sounding like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know why that is. Get to the chopper, Klaus. You know, I think he's just so, you know. So anyway, here we go. So, you know, we got the usual nosebleeds, you know, Albania, Angola, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Belarus. Wait, there's someone from Belarus? Leader of the Democratic Forces of Belarus. So that'll be the people they want to basically set up a shadow government in Belarus once they get the color revolution, I presume. They'll be grooming for that. Philippe of the Belgians. King of the Belgians! I love the way that's like phrased. Like not, you know, head of the Belgian royal family. I am the king of the Belgians. Fucking hell. Yeah, a bunch of people from Belgium, Botswana, Brazil. I presume these are all the Lula da Silva communist types. I don't think they would be inviting Senor Bolsonaro, especially now that he is in exile in America, in Florida, it seems. Cambodia, Canada. Only one person from Canada. Oh, they must be too busy oppressing their own population. I mean, it's basically a done deal in Canada at this point, really. Although everyone's just waiting for the shooting to start, you know what I mean? But, you know, the Minister for International Trade, Export Promotion, Small Business and Economic Development. Wait, they actually have a Minister for Small Business? I thought they'd killed all the small business. Oh, well, maybe that's her job, is to kill more small business and small business owners. Colombia, Costa Rica, Croatia, Czech Republic, Ecuador, Egypt. Who cares about them? What we care about is the EU. Ursula von der Leyen, of course, the notorious president of the European Commission and notorious witch shitbag, president of the European Parliament, executive vice president for an economy that works for people. Oh my God. That sounds straight out of the US. I can't believe how much the EU has become, like governance-wise, has come to sort of resemble like the late-stage USSR in the language that it used. Commission for Crisis Management, European Commission. Yes, well, they do have quite a lot of crises that they need to manage. Maybe you shouldn't have trusted the Americans. Maybe you shouldn't have transitioned to green energy. Maybe you should have fucking like had more nuclear power. Oh, look, it's fine. What's the worst thing that can happen? It's not like everyone's going to starve and freeze to death, right? Right? Schwab will save them, right? All those millions of like people getting like, you know, systematically displaced by like migrant inflows and starving and freezing to death. Look, Klaus has a plan. The new gulags are, well, they have some heat. You have to like work for your heating chits, obviously. Commissioner for Budget and Administration, Commissioner for Energy, Commissioner for Financial Services, Financial Stability and Capital Markets Union, Commissioner for Innovation. Oh my God, they've got so many fucking commissioners. Commissioner for Jobs and Social Rights, Commissioner for Economy, Vice President for Values and Transparency. What the fuck does that mean? The Vice President for Values and Transparency. Well, is that the person that you go when you need to like fucking kill a whole bunch of people and get away with it? Talk to our Vice President for Values and Transparency. He'll make sure that it's all covered up. Commissioner for the Environment, Oceans and Fisheries. Christine Lagarde, of course, the President of the European Central Bank. They're all very, the digital currencies are coming up and they can't fucking wait for that stuff. Basically, it'll be like exactly like Weimar Germany or Zimbabwe when they have like mass hyperinflation, but because all the money's digital, you won't see those depressing pictures of people wheeling around wheelbarrows full of money because you can just tack an extra zero on whenever you want. Chief Executive European Defence Agency, and European Representative for the Balkans. Oh, great. France, Germany, Olaf Scholz, of course, the Federal Chancellor of Germany, widely reviled by his people after his actions during the COVID pandemic, which I'm sure will never, ever repeat again. Definitely won't repeat in 2025. The fact that they are role-playing for this outcome has nothing to do, and if you don't believe that, you're some kind of conspiracy theorist. Probably a racist, and quite possibly, even worse, a Trump supporter or a rightist. Oh my God, I can't believe there are such people still out there, probably watching this video. When the cleansing comes, brother, and you are all exterminated, the world will be such a better place. It will just be full of communists who, of course, are legendary for getting along peacefully with one another. Yes. Germany. Everyone's from Germany. Greece, India, Indonesia. The int category is quite interesting. These are people that are citizens of the world. They don't owe allegiance to any particular country. They are essentially mainstays of the global country that is basically everywhere they want to be. One of these, of course, is Maxima, Queen of the Netherlands. You would think she'd be representing Holland, but no. She's representing the United Nations Secretary General, Special Advocate for Inclusive Finance. Ooh. I bet that is a lot more sinister than that sounds. Because all of this stuff is. Every single time I see a thing from the United Nations and they're like, we're going to do great things for children. First thing that goes through my head is, yeah, you're going to like kill them, aren't you? Right? It's literally like, like the USSR. They're like, they're planning on like starving 1 million people to death, and the way they frame it is like, free food for all, more inclusivity in food production. We will boost food production 1 billion times. Yeah, you're going to just kill a bunch of people, aren't you? Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, head of the IMF, Director General of the World Trade Organization. It's always quite interesting. I always wonder about this. Is the Director General of the WTO, is that like the highest person, or is there a Deputy Director General? I don't know how these things work. United Nations Development Program, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, head of Europol, head of UNICEF, United Nations Children Fund, head of the United Nations World Food Program, Secretary General of the Digital Cooperation Organization. Everyone is here. International Telecommunications Union, the head of the IEA, International Energy Agency, the High Commissioner for Refugees, International Renewable Energy Agency. Oh my God, there's so fucking many of these. This is the world government, right? Any single time people are like, oh, there's no such thing as the world government. Who are all these people then, right? They're directors of international bodies right, that basically claim jurisdiction over global things like food development, refugees, industrial development, international labor. What the fuck else would you call it? I mean, it can't be a global government. I didn't vote for it. Yeah, that's the point. You can still have a government that you didn't vote for. Oh my God. Do you even history, bro? I just can't anymore. It's just the stupidity. It's too much. It's too much. I've been talking to too many normies. I really need to avoid them. Perhaps I could just wear like a flashing sign around my neck that just says, "Go away, normies." Head of the IMF, of course. OPEC, of course. Inter-American Development Bank. Just all these sleazy fuckers. Jens Stoltenberg, of course, the Secretary General of NATO. Head of European Space Agency, head of Interpol, World Customs Organization. Oh my God, it just goes on and on. United Nations Population Fund. I'm sure they do great work, right? Their goal is to increase population, right? Right? There's not fucking United Nations Population Fund. Nothing sinister about that at all. Envoy for the Oceans. And of course, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, the head of the World Health Organization, who will definitely be giving up a bunch of their power now and not making a massive power grab in order to become a legislative enforcement body for all of the world's health systems. Ha! Just joking. That's exactly what they're doing. They're actually meeting right now, literally, to do that. I'm sure it'll be fine, bros. My God, it's just like everyone from the United Nations is there. Like, my God, the World Bank, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, Infrastructure and Energy, the World Tourism Organization. Oh my God. High Commissioner for Human Rights, Disease Control. Oh my God. Oh, there's so many. Imagine being in a room with all these like people. Oof. I feel like I would not be welcome. Something tells me they just look at me like I was some kind of like protozoa that crawled out. They'd probably be like, misinformation, get him, kill the misinformation, kill the unbeliever. Just be like, I just want to ask you some questions. We ask the questions here. We are the United Nations. Who do you think you are questioning our authority? We are the United Nations. We are the world government. We have penetrated your cabinet. Ow! God, you could have taken me to dinner first. He's trying to penetrate my cabinet. Government Central Bank of Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Malaysia, Malta, Minister of Culture from Malta. I don't know. Morocco, Mozambique, Netherlands, Niger. My favorite country to say. I'm surprised they haven't been forced to change their name, actually, to something a little less offensive. Nigeria as well, perilously close to the N-word. They really should be encouraged to change the name of their country. Norway, Pakistan, Palestinian Authority. China, of course, making an appearance. Philippines, Poland, Portugal, Qatar, Korea. 4 people from Rwanda. Saudi Arabia. Serbia, Singapore, Slovakia, South Africa, Spain, Sweden. Lots of people from Switzerland. Not surprising. United Arab Emirates, and of course, what I care about, the United Kingdom. Secretary of State for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy, Grant Shapps. Keir Starmer is going to be there. I'm sure that that's not a bad indication for what Labour in the UK will do when they get into power, bros. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it will be fine. Kemi Badenoch. Kemi, what are you doing going to see the WEF? I like Kemi Badenoch. I hope she's not going to be sucked into this. Zach Goldsmith, Minister of State. Nicholas Lyons, Lord Mayor of the City of London. That's not the City of London, but the City of London, the very, very small extraterritorialized part that sits in the middle of London, a bit like the way the Vatican sits in the middle of Rome. Not many people know about that unless you're sort of a high-tier autist like myself. Shadow Chancellor of the Exchequer, but not the actual Chancellor of the Exchequer. This really looks like they're setting up for the next Labour government, which I'm sure will be like completely fair and will not like basically take all of the policies of the Conservative government and turn them up to 11. Head of MI6, obviously, got to make sure that people aren't spreading that misinformation. And of course, Tony Blair. Tony Blair, fresh back from his appearance on Tony Blair Hyena Island, where instead of getting rabidly torn to bits by a pack of rabid hyenas, managed to talk them around and get them to set up a sustainable development initiative where instead they killed each other off for his amusement. Oh my God. From the US, of course, John Kerry, general sort of climate envoy and green retard, Secretary of Labour, Christopher Wray, the current director of the FBI, very, very important. They're probably all going to like sit around and bitch about Elon Musk. I bet you any money. They'll be like, how do we kill this motherfucker? I don't know. It's hard. He's got like really good security. Can we get somebody in there? Can we suborn his security? No, apparently they really like him. He like pays really well. God damn it. We're going to have to infiltrate Tesla somehow or Twitter. That man cannot be allowed to survive. He's damaging our narrative. So you got people from fucking Georgia, Delaware, California, New York, Michigan, Illinois, a lot of blue states here I'm noticing. This, all of the usual like deep state motherfuckers, Gretchen Whitmer, Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema. I don't know, they do have some Republicans. I guess these would be the uni-party sort of like people. Massachusetts. And of course, then it goes on to Vietnam, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Now, we do have the actual program of what is going on here. It's quite long, but I just thought I would pick out a few that are really sort of nice. Of course, they're all very, very concerned about the current energy crisis, which they created, the COVID-19 crisis, which they also created, and the financial crisis, which they also created. So they're very, very concerned about these crises that they created and the solutions that they need to implement to solve those crises that they created, and further solutions that will be required for the next crisis that they create. Technology for a more resilient world, the geopolitics of industry. Honestly, I'd actually quite like to go to this if I didn't have to I don't know how much a ticket is for one of the nosebleed seats, I don't know if they'd let me go, actually, to be perfectly honest, even if I could afford it, which I certainly cannot. Democracy, the way forward. As democracy comes under increasing pressure, what can leaders do today to strengthen democratic systems? Now, all of the descriptions of the things are basically like this. If you speak and understand WEF speak, right, for example, you will know that what this means is how can we make sure that the wrong people don't get voted into power, and by the wrong people they mean basically anyone who is against the agenda of the WEF. When these people say democracy, what they mean is people who agree with our agenda getting voted into power, whereas fascism or populism is basically anyone they don't like getting voted into power. So many of these, by the way, right? You could never hope to see them all. They will be being all live streamed though, and I'm sure there'll be like a bunch of people like watching. This does seem to be a bit more of a packed program this year. It makes me wonder whether they're not trying to hide the really juicy stuff in these little things that hardly anyone attends. Probably whispering around, make sure you attend the conference on Saturday at 9. All the boys will be there. We're going to have a meeting afterwards and decide how to proceed. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, this program is insanely long, so I am probably going to cover that in another video. Look, one of the things I do enjoy about every time the WEF meets is that I have tons of content to stream about, because they are just a, ever-moving clown feast. as it were, of bad takes, out of touch ivory tower bullshit, and sinister communism. So I will be following the WEF, or, following the people who are following the WEF, and I will bring it to you, dear viewer. So that way you can keep ahead of what's going to happen in the next couple of years, because these are the people deciding it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, share, subscribe, and all that kind of other stuff, and I will see you soon. Good night.